Uber is a growth stock for a company that's really exciting. Uber started with ride sharing about a decade ago and has now become the number one ride sharing company in the world. This is a company that continues to expand globally and really continue to dominate here in the United States. I really like taking Ubers when I travel, and I'm not the only one. A lot of people love taking Ubers when they travel, but it's becoming more than that. People take Ubers instead of buying a car. And Uber is now expanding into food delivery, grocery delivery, and transportation. So the company is large and continues to grow. The company also generates free cash flow. So it's great to have a stock that is a leading company in their category. It's an expanding category. It's a new category. And overall, the company is great. The company has a market cap of $138 billion. It's really on its way to be one of these mega caps someday. The revenue is already at $38.5 billion. This company didn't exist 15 years ago, which is really incredible. The company has a forward PE of 47.8 because it is a growth stock. Has a strong buy rating by many analysts with a 19% price target above the current stock price. The company announced their earnings today, and the shares went down in price by 5%. Why was that? Did they really do a terrible job in Q1? I'm going to take a look at the quarterly earnings report and form my own opinion. Maybe they had a decent quarter, but analysts were just expecting too much. Or maybe just analysts are wrong. Or maybe they're right, and I should agree with them. Nonetheless, I'm going to take a look at Q1 and make my own opinion. The company has been growing dynamically. If you look at the growth over the last 8 years, it's just incredible, especially in 2022 when they grew 82%. They grew in 2023 by almost 17%. Great job, Uber. What makes them very valuable, and it's no secret, free cash flow generating companies that grow very fast become the most valuable companies. Just look at the most valuable companies like NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet. They all generate free cash. So looking at the free cash flow of Uber is very important in my valuation. So I will take a look at it. They have great free cash flow in 2023. They had cash from operations of 3.5 billion and only capital expense of 223 million. So you can see that really high free cash flow out of Uber, and that is why they're worth the amount of money that the market cap amounts to. Overall, the balance sheet's in great shape because they have a lot of cash, around $7 billion in cash, actually over $7 billion in cash, and they don't have a lot of debt in proportion to the company. So the long-term debt is around 11 billion and the cash is about 7.7 billion. That's really good. Net cash is really low and their EBITDA well covers that net cash in less than 1 year. So it's well below my 3, which is debt to EBITDA. My ratio is very well satisfied by Uber's balance sheet. So the company's growing. They're the market leader. They're the best in their category. A lot of things to like about Uber. When we look at their forecast, there's 33 analysts that cover Uber. And overall, there's a buy rating. It's actually a strong buy. And they say that the stock price ought to be 19% higher than the current stock price. So why did the stock price come down so much today? That's interesting. The earnings per share in 2024 is expected to be $1.39, and it's going to grow nicely. In 25, it's going to grow by 60%, and then it's going to continue to grow in 2026, another 36%. Good job, Uber. Looking at their first quarter earnings report, it looks like they had good growth. Trips grew by 21%. Their gross bookings grew by 20%, and 21% if you measure year over year in a constant currency basis. They had income from operations that was good, adjusted EBITDA of 1.4 billion, very high, 82% higher than the previous year comparing the same quarter. Free cash flow of 1.4 billion. Their free cash flow was higher than I originally thought, so I'm going to adjust my free cash flow calculation, and that should increase the value of Uber that I will calculate using my free cash flow discount schedule. So overall, in the quarter, Q1 most definitely looks great. Where the company had maybe disappointed some people is in the Q2 guidance. Q2 guidance was not going to be spectacular. It was just going to be fair. And that's what sent the stock price tumbling. Now, the remainder of the year, toward the tail end of 24, it's expected to do well. So overall, I like the earnings report. I'll take a good quarter. Just a quick reminder, I'm an individual investor just sharing my experience. In this case, I'm analyzing Uber and sharing my analysis with you. I am not recommending you buy Uber or you sell Uber, and I'm not providing any financial advice. I'm just sharing my experience with you. What do I think Uber is worth? Well, I did a valuation using their free cash flows and their earnings per share to arrive at what I think the company is worth on a per stock basis. First, let me start with free cash flows. Now, as mentioned, free cash flows is the determination of most of the most valuable companies on the stock market. Look at the most valuable companies, and they all generate really free cash flows. That's why I use free cash flows as the principal valuation tool of companies. Now, as I look at the starting point for free cash flows, I expect the company is going to produce about $4 billion of free cash in 2024. They're going to grow those free cash flows by 22% in the first 4 years. And then after that, they're going to grow up 5% on all years after year four, represented in the terminal value, which is all cash flows after year four. I'm going to discount those cash flows by a discount rate of 9% to arrive at an intrinsic value of $142.6 billion. The cash on the balance sheet is $5.4 billion. I'm going to add the debt, which is $9.4 billion, to get to an equity value of $138.5 billion. Now, the market cap's right in the same neighborhood, $138.2 billion. So really, Uber is fairly priced if we value the company based on the free cash flows I'm expecting the company to produce. Now, their earnings per share, they've guided that they can do $1.15 per share. So I'm going to take that, which is their low end of their guidance, and have a PE of 60. They are a growth company. They are an exciting company. That's why I'm using such a high PE. And I'm going to grow those earnings per share by 10%. Based on those factors, I get a stock price of $75.90. The current stock price is $66.40. So there's about a 14% discount on Uber. So when I blend the two, I put more emphasis on free cash flows. I get a 5% discount on Uber currently. I think that's another way of saying they are fairly priced at this time. So do I think Uber is a good buy right now? Well, I want to look at three things. First, it's all about the company. Second, it's all about the balance sheet. And then third, discount. First, the company. Do I like the company, the business? Do I think the company has a competitive advantage? Do I like their management team? Do I like their industry? And it's just all the above. I really am excited about the Uber business. I think they're the best operated company in their industry. I think their management team is excellent. So I really like the company. Balance sheet. The balance sheet has a debt to EBITDA well below 3. They really accumulate cash quickly because they're a cash flow generating company. And they don't need a lot of debt to grow their business. They do not need a ton of capital to grow this business. So overall, I really like the balance sheet. Third, the discount. The discount, there really isn't one. It's fairly priced. It's a great company. And for now, I'm going to be holding on Uber. Now, if the stock were to come down maybe 10, 20%, I might change my mind and start buying shares. But for now, I'm just holding my Uber shares. Hey, thank you for watching the video. I hope you found it interesting. I'd love to hear from you on what you think of Uber, and if potentially if you're a stockholder of Uber, what you plan to do with the stock. Love hearing comments from viewers. Thanks again for watching. Good luck investing.